Hey y'all, 3 o'clock on Thursday. Welcome, Rosetree Glass Studio. I'm Mark, I'm the owner here. The owner and glassblower. My wife Brenda owns it with me, and we are in beautiful Algiers Point, which is part of New Orleans, and I'm welcome you to our show. A couple things. Today is kind of a bittersweet day. It would have been the first day of Jazz Fest, which is a huge moment in time for artists and musicians and food restaurants in this city, and it was canceled. So there are lots of celebrations for Jazz Fest, except you can't actually go out and celebrate at the fairgrounds. So you notice my pin here. Today's dedicated to Threadheads. Threadheads are a group of people from all over the world who just love Jazz Fest and love New Orleans. And I've been a member with Threadhead probably 15, 16 years. And it's a really tight group of people who really share the love. So this is dedicated to them all across the world. Number two, that was number one. That's number two. Number two, we're going to do something special today for another group. We did, last time we did hospital and
healthcare workers.
Healthcare workers, thank you. That's Darcy behind the camera. Healthcare workers. Today, something that's close to my heart and close to Brenda's heart. We're going to do something for teachers, for a teacher in particular. So, what I want you to do is, this is for teachers, displaced teachers, let's call them. Teachers who were in the classroom and are now working their butts off at home, trying to teach through their computer, something totally new, totally different than they're used to, and we applaud you for that. So, what we're going to do is, just like we did with the healthcare workers, we're going to take names, we're going to pick a name out of the hat, and what we are going to give away is, come over here, Miss Darcy. We're going to give away one of these pairs of wine goblets. We figured that wine might be something that you need after dealing with students all day, so we thought the wine glasses would be very appropriate for that. So, rules are a teacher who is displaced out of the classroom. I need the teacher's name and what school they taught at. Okay. You see we still have our fest set up, except for it's changed a bit. We've sold some things, which is great. I thank you for that. And we put some new stuff out. So if you're at all interested in anything that's here, if you can't find it on our website, drop us a note, drop me a message, and we'll get it to you. You can also see that the flower bouquet is in the vase that I did on Tuesday. So that is the green and yellow two-tone cylinder that I made on Tuesday for all of you who were in on that. So that's what we're going to start out with. Now again, if I was at Jazz Fest, I would have my Mandarin orange tea in here, which I have tea but not Mandarin orange, and I'd probably be eating cracklins and crawfish enchiladas and all sorts of different great food that we have in Southeast Louisiana. So let's get started. And how about what we're making today? We are making. These are new, and they are dispensers. You could use them for dish soap. You could use them for oil, like olive oil. So this is what I'm going to make today. So we are going to start as we always do. I wish it was Mandarin. We're going to start as we always do, going to our furnace and getting our first layer out, our first gather. It's going to be a 2-layer piece. The color is going to be all on the outside. So come on with me to the furnace. So, my furnace. If you have been with me for, Darcy, we've been doing this for a month?
Yeah.
Over a month, probably.
Today is over a month.
If you've been with me for the past month, you know that in here is my molten glass. Molten meaning liquid. It is 2,050 degrees inside here. And I use a blowpipe to get the glass out of the furnace. The same kind of techniques and methods that glass workers have been using for over 2,000 years. So, Mark needs his glasses. It's kind of bright in there, so. In here is my glass. And you'll see that's the amount of my first gather. I have to keep turning it all the time. If I stop turning, we talked about this on Tuesday, gravity would take over. And gravity is a force that pulls you towards the middle of the mass being Earth. So gravity keeps us on Earth because it keeps pulling us down. So I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. I hope people are starting to put teachers on there, teachers' names.
Oh, they definitely are.
Wonderful. And I'm going to blow my first bubble in here, my initial bubble in here. Starter bubble, let's call it. I'm going to blow it to the end, cover it with my thumb, trap air inside, and when the cold air hits the hot glass, it heats up and expands. And if you see how the bubbles inside there. So that's the inside of this piece. So I'm kind of working from the inside out, and I have to have my plan. I have to be planned out. It's kind of like a game of chess. I gotta be 3, 4, 5 moves ahead while I'm working. So that's my bubble, the starter bubble inside. We're going to wait for the pipe to cool off because this mass of glass right now is pretty hot still. If I went into the furnace, put another layer on top, then it would heat this up too hot and it would become really hard for me to control. So we're going to sit and wait for a couple seconds, let it lose the color that's in the end of the pipe. So, always ask where y'all from, and we'll see who is the farthest away and who is the closest to here. I know I have neighborhood people watching, so chime in. Love to hear you. I would love to see y'all again as soon as we open the gallery back up. And who is the farthest one? I know a lot of my Threadhead friends around the world are listening to WWOZ right now because they're running Jazz Fest programming, music from different tents from years past. I hope they tune in a little bit here to get a little bit of glass blowing in, but I understand if they're streaming OZ now. All right, I'm gonna get another layer on top, and then we'll start putting color on. Anybody have any questions yet? I'm sure we have some students who are new. I'd love to hear from you. So that's my second layer on top. And I'm going to go put some color on.
We've got people from all over Louisiana, including just the next block over.
Wonderful.
We've got San Diego, Tennessee, Houston.
All right. Okay, so I'm putting, voice crack. I'm putting, this is blue powder, cobalt blue. And I'm just putting one layer of cobalt blue on. This is a pretty dense color. Dense meaning it's very strong.
Christine wants to know, does the dispenser have a pump action or just a tip that pours?
It's
like
a
an
tip
olive
that
oil?
pours. We can put a pump on it if you'd like. We have the soap dispensers. We can put the soap pumps on top of the tall ones also, if that's what you want. So I'm just setting it up for, again, I'm trying to be moves ahead. I'm setting it up for adding the color chip band on there. The reheating chamber that I'm in is actually hotter than the furnace. It's about 2100, 2200 degrees inside here. So we have a separate reheating chamber so that we don't have to keep opening and closing the furnace and cooling off the glass inside. Still getting teacher nominations?
Oh, yes.
Good. So I'm heating this up. I'm going to put one more small, I'm going to put a layer on top of the color swatch that I just put on. One more layer on. Just so it's a little bit more concentrated and more colorful. Always turning. Remember about gravity. If I stop turning, gravity's going to take over. It's going to drip to the floor. So I'm going to smooth it out and get ready for my next step, which will be going into what is called an optic mold. An optic mold is what puts the ridges on it. So I don't use molds to make final shapes, but I do use molds to help make decorations. And this down here is the optic mold, and you see it has grooves and ridges in it. So when I stuff the glass inside that, the glass, molten glass, will pick up those ridges. So you see the ridges on it now. I'm going to, and you can hear the ridges on it. I'm going to blow it out a little bit, just make sure my bubble is still in there. And then I'm going to start working on my shape. Actually, I'm going to put a spin in the ridges. I like it when it goes around up the bottom. So I usually tell you what the weather's like in New Orleans. For the past month, it's been beautiful, and I've always said that. Today, of course, first day of Jazz Fest, or first day would have been Jazz Fest, it was pouring rain today. So
There's
all the
always
plants
at
got
least
water.
one rain day.
What's that?
There's always at least one rain day.
Always is. So I'm going to, actually, sorry.
What did you just do there?
I just helped start to twist.
You see that there?
And you see, now we have a twist going around the ridges. So now it's time to start shaping the piece.
And just for anybody who's catching up, who may have come in late, we're doing these soap dispensers. Get a lot of action and movement in that piece.
And again, if you came in late, we are nominating a displaced classroom teacher to receive one of our sets of wine glasses that we have on the table. So we can do a special drawing like we did last week. This week being teachers, last week was healthcare workers.
And the colors, just so you know, are gold and white and Mardi Gras purple.
For the stemware.
For the stemware, yes.
The color I'm doing now is, for this piece, is cobalt blue and what we call a pastel mix. Nice colorful mix. So I'm increasing the size of the bubble. So I'm pushing the bubble down and make more volume inside the piece. So Tuesday we talked about math a little bit, about volume and diameters and things like that. I think next Tuesday I might take you on a history trip. I'm going to do a little glass history, which is it's really fascinating actually. It has influenced actually world events. The story of glass. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling out the neck, and that's going to be beneath the cap. Swinging it one time just to kind of lengthen it a little bit. A little more air inside. So you see how the shape is starting to get longer and not be as round as it was before.
And when you guys nominate, give us their name and give us the school that they're displaced from, please.
And please bear in mind, if you are on a watch party, we cannot see any of your comments during this. So if you have a question or a nomination, please put it on this main Facebook Live. So what I'm doing is I am making sure that the top will fit on. Blowing a little bit more air in.
Christy wants to know approximately how much do these cost as a soap dispenser?
Approximately how much do they cost?
Uh-huh.
They approximately cost $69. That includes free shipping. Has a great screw-in top. It's not just a little cork on top, it's a screw-on top. Okay, so it was kind of round before, kind of egg-shaped. Now I'm making it, you can see how the shape is increasing and getting longer. Once again, I'm going to always, okay, so you see my measurement is right on. That's the measurement for the cap. So we're going to stop doing anything with the top and we're going to start elongating this a little bit more. I don't know if Shaw is watching, but he was asking actually about if I made these. He sent me a message, I think, yesterday, or the day before, days keep going on in my head, asking if we did something like this, and so here we are. So I'm making this longer still. So you see how the length is increasing. Now the way to make it longer, I'm going to have to blow more in the bottom and then heat that up and let the bottom flow out.
Max wants to know, when you reheat, do you worry about affecting the top when working on forming the bottom?
Yes, I got to keep the top cooler now so it doesn't move. For those of you who know me, that's my son Max. Mm-hmm. My son Max is a third generation artist, where my dad was an illustrator, done a lot of great stuff, and I'm an artist also. And Max is a graphic designer out in Los Angeles. shout out to him.
The talent oozes in your family.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I'm flattening the bottom, and that's kind of general shape, but I'm going to just fine tune it now. So I want this neckline to be this big. I want it to be that length. So I'm going to lengthen this one more time, try and hit that mark that I want. I got to flash the whole piece, because if I didn't flash the neck, which is done, later when it cracks off, when I crack it off of there, it will break, not at the right spot. So I got to keep the whole piece warm, and then just hard heat the part that I want to change shape. So again, I'm going to use centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is the force that pulls you away from the mass. So by turning it around my head and spinning it, the force is going away and lengthening.
So Jimmy wants to know, is there a check valve in the tube that keeps the air from escaping after you blow into the piece?
No. No. When I do it, like when I'm doing the air trap, I keep my thumb over it, and that's really my check valve. So by keeping my thumb on, keeps the air in, taking my thumb off, the air is allowed to escape.
Cheryl wants to know when the drawing will be for a teacher.
Oh, good question. The drawing will be, what is today? The drawing will be tomorrow. The nominations will stop at noon, and we'll have a little piece of paper and corresponding every name with a number, and we'll pick the number out of a bowl, and we'll hopefully make somebody very, very happy.
Darlene wants to know, is the pole hot?
The pole is hot. See where it changes color here? It's hot to about there. So I can move my hand all the way down to about there. That's as far up as the heat transfers.
For those of you who just came in, we're making a soap dispenser today. It's beautiful cobalt blue.
So I'm trying to get my final shape done. And you can hear it has ridges. So I like that just because it gives a little grip on the piece. So that's pretty much the piece. Once this is, we're going to put it into the oven, and once it cools off, it has to be cold work, which means it has to be ground and fit so I can have the cap exact on top. So there's still a lot of work to do after it's blown. Alright, so as always, once the colors, you see the yellows are kind of peeking out, but the colors aren't going to come through until it's totally cooled off. So I'm taking a diamond file, scoring the line that I wanted to crack off on, and there's on the floor. That's good. What I hit? Did I hit something?
Don't know.
That's why, Max, we keep heating the top up. Okay, looks good. Huh.
All right, we got lucky on that one.
Right. See if it has a crack on it or anything tomorrow. That happens, okay? People ask if I lose pieces. Yes, I do. As you see, sometimes that happens. What happened was the piece got really cold, and then when because I'm talking and not thinking, then when I hit it with the file, that set up my brake line. Anyway, we'll see what it looks like tomorrow.
Max has one more question for you.
Okay.
After you're done the piece, how long does it take to cool, and how long does the cold work take?
Thank you. I'm sorry, I was a little distracted with the piece. So the oven is 920 degrees or so. So when the piece goes in there, it kind of cools down to 920. While I'm working, it's still above 1,000. So it cools down to 920, and then the whole piece stabilizes at 920, and then we turn on a turn down overnight, which goes about 16 hours from 920 down to room temperature. If we brought it from working temperature to room temperature all by itself without controlling it, it will crack because it's going to go from hot to cold too fast. Cold working, it depends. Something like that, it'll be another, I don't know, probably as long as it took to make it, between grinding it and drilling it and gluing the top on. So it takes probably the same amount.
So the cold work would also take care of the jagged edge that was on the top after
Correct.
it fell, right?
Correct. So cold working is using diamond discs and tools to smooth out the glass and grind it down to the correct proportions and size. So we have a room upstairs that we have machines that we work on for that. Okay, so that's a dispenser, tall soap dispenser, pour spout.
Keep nominating.
Again, we are doing the giveaway for displaced teacher. We need a teacher's name and the school that they're displaced from. As always, thank you all for coming. We are www.rosetreegallery.com online. You can see our stuff. We have a lot of sales stuff. New stuff goes on there. Facebook is Rosetree Blown Glass, but you know that because you're here. Instagram, Rosetree Glass Gallery. Again, happy fest. Happy no fest, I guess. And as always, thanks for coming. Be kind to one another. Take care of one another. Love one another. Thank y'all. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock for the drawing.